2 million years ago, the world was a very different place. There were no cities, no roads, no smartphones, just raw earth, towering trees, predator and prey. And in the middle of it all, the very first humans were learning how to survive. This is their story. We're in the early Pleistocene epoch, a time when climate swings between warm and cold were shaping the Earth's surface. Forests were shrinking, grasslands were expanding, and with that shift came new challenges and new opportunities. In Africa, where human life began, vast savannas stretched toward the horizon. Herds of elephants, giant antelope, saber-toothed cats, and other megafauna roamed freely. But among them, a new kind of creature was emerging. Homo habilis, one of the earliest members of the human family. Homo habilis means handyman, for good reason. They were among the first to create and use stone tools, simple, sharp rocks used to crack bones, cut meat, and dig for roots. They stood a little over a meter tall, with long arms and curved fingers, suggesting they still spent time in trees. But make no mistake, these were ground dwellers, hunters, scavengers, survivors. With larger brains than their predecessors, they were beginning to think in new ways, to plan, to adapt, to pass down knowledge. This was the beginning of human culture. So, how did early humans survive in such a wild and dangerous world? First, they moved, constantly. Nomadic by nature, they followed herds, avoided predators, and searched for water. Their world wasn't mapped, but it was memorized. Every hill, tree, and rock held meaning. Second, they shared. Survival wasn't a solo act. Small bands of Homo habilis worked together, gathering plants, hunting small animals, and scavenging what larger predators left behind. And third, they observed. They watched vultures in the sky, listened for the howls of hyenas, read the signs of movement in the tall grass. In a world without shelter, weapons, or fire, awareness was everything. The stone tools of Homo habilis may seem crude today, but back then, they were revolutionary. With just a few strikes, they could turn a river rock into a sharp edge. These tools allowed them to scrape hides, carve meat, crack open marrow-rich bones, and process plants. They weren't just reacting to nature anymore. They were beginning to shape it. Every chipped stone was a spark of innovation, a step towards something greater. Now you might be wondering, did they have fire? The short answer is not yet. While the controlled use of fire came later, perhaps with Homo erectus, these early humans lived without it. That meant no cooked food, no warmth on cold nights, no protection from predators in the dark. Nightfall was dangerous, and every sunrise was a new chance to survive. What about family? Though we'll never know the full picture, clues from bones and living hunter-gatherers suggest early humans raised children in groups. Mothers weren't alone. Older children helped. The elderly, if they survived, shared stories and knowledge. In a world of constant danger, community meant survival. And while life was short, perhaps 30 years or less, it was filled with constant learning. Each child grew up knowing that every step, every bite, every choice could mean life or death. 2 million years ago may seem impossibly distant, but those early humans, They were the foundation. They didn't just survive, they adapted. They began the journey we're still walking today. Every tool you use, every idea you share, every challenge you face, it all echoes the spirits of Homo habilis. Because before we built cities, before we harnessed fire, before we spoke in languages, we were learning how to be human. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay curious.